Selling your car privately often results in getting the highest price compared to trading it in. But the higher price you might get doesn't reflect all the time, effort, money, and stress the process includes. Hi, I'm Mike with Driveo, a safe, fast, and hassle-free way to sell your car. If you're determined to do a private sale, here are 6 steps you can use to limit your risks. Number 1, avoid wasting time with non-serious buyers and scammers. Make no mistake, you'll get inquiries from people who aren't serious buyers. It's just part of it. But there's an even darker side to this that you need to know about. In the worst case scenario, some of these people are trying to find opportunities to scam you. They'll do their best to make you think they're a legitimate buyer. The key is to be aware of things scammers say so you can identify them early before getting sucked into their web of lies. When someone contacts you about your car, be sure to get answers to these questions. What is the person's full name? If there's any hesitation on the part of the person making the inquiry to supply this information, hang up or just don't reply to the email. Is the person in your area? People contacting you from far away or from overseas is always a red flag. It typically means they're going to try and get you involved in some crazy scheme. Ask for their phone number and address as well. Do they want to see the vehicle? Anyone who wants to make you an offer, especially an offer above what you're asking, without first looking at or test driving your car is another huge red flag. Are they wanting to wire you the money? Anyone who offers to wire you money for a car is probably up to no good. Anything that sounds strange or overly complicated to you should be considered a red flag. Scammers are constantly coming up with different schemes to trick unsuspecting sellers. Using your common sense as you field inquiries is one of the easiest ways to limit risk when selling your car privately. Number 2, avoid stranger danger when selling your car. Let us be clear that instances of people being harmed while privately selling their car are extremely rare, but it does happen. Use common sense and take a number of precautions to avoid any potential problems. The first thing you can do is limit the amount of personal information you give out when advertising. Some scammers aren't as interested in your car as they are in your personal information. You can say you'll only accept initial inquiries by email and set up separate Gmail or Yahoo Mail accounts so you're not handing out your real email address. Don't give out your home telephone number either if you have one, as that's a way savvy people can figure out your home address. If you'll be sharing service and repair records, be sure to black out your personal information. Never have prospective buyers meet you at your home. Agree to meet in a very public area where there'll be lots of people around, preferably someplace like a grocery store or retail outlet where you know the parking lot is under video surveillance. Always have a friend with you as well. Potential attackers will be deterred if you're not alone. If you can't have someone with you, be sure you've informed a family member or a friend about where and when you're having your meeting and how long it'll last. If you're going to allow a potential buyer to test drive the car, make sure you have a way to make a photocopy of the person's driver's license. Agree before the test drive on the route you'll take, and 15 minutes is more than enough time for a potential buyer to get a feel for the car. Number 3, avoid getting scammed with safe forms of payment. There are many ways that scammers try and take your car without paying for it. Most of them involve some form of fake payment. Cash may be a safer way to accept payment, but what if the bills are counterfeit? And do you really want to receive a big wad of bills on the street? Cash may be king, but when you're selling your car privately, there's still risks. The same thing applies to personal checks. What if the check bounces when you try and cash it or deposit it? If you allow the buyer to take the car in exchange for the check, you're out of luck. What about cashier's checks from a bank? You'd be surprised how easy it is to fake those, leaving you with no car and no money for it. Money orders, wire transfers, PayPal, these can all be faked or set up in a way that doesn't result in you getting the money for your car. All of the different ways mentioned that scammers can use to make fake payments can be thwarted by adopting 2 simple rules for accepting payments. Number 1, never let a buyer take possession of your car or sign over the title before you verify that the funds are in your bank account. And number 2, meet at your bank to accept the payment so you can verify the transaction. A cash deposit will be immediately examined by the bank. If the buyer is paying with a cashier's check, it might take a few days for it to clear, so make sure the buyer understands that they don't get the car until the payment clears. Next up, number 4, avoid fraud claims after selling. There's nothing worse than going through all the stress and hassle of selling your car privately, only to have the buyer make a fraud claim against you because they're unsatisfied with the vehicle. In most places, the assumption is that you're selling it as is, meaning you've disclosed everything you know about the car, including what's wrong with it. Be as clear as possible from the beginning that you're selling the car as is and that you're not responsible for any future repairs. Unfortunately, you're still not necessarily protected. If the buyer discovers something wrong with the car that you didn't tell them about, you could get hit with a fraud claim. Here's how to protect yourself from experiencing that scenario. Your best weapon against potential fraud claims is the truth. If your brakes barely passed inspection, don't say the brakes are fine. Just tell the truth. If you get caught in a lie, you can find yourself in serious legal trouble. The complicating factor here is when you fail to disclose a material fact. If your car was in an accident, that's something you'd want to mention. Withholding that information can be a legal problem, even though you didn't technically lie about it. Again, honesty is the best policy. Give the buyer the most complete picture possible. Number 5, avoid post-sale liabilities with the change of ownership. Here's a nightmare scenario. You sell your car to a person and fill out all the right paperwork. A few weeks later, you find that the buyer racked up hundreds of dollars in parking tickets and then crashed the car into a storefront, causing thousands of dollars of damage. Law enforcement contacts you as the owner of the vehicle. You could be held legally liable for the parking tickets and damage caused to the business. But didn't you already sell it and do all the right paperwork? There's only one way to make sure that the buyer of your car fulfills their end of the bargain. You should both meet at the DMV to take care of all the paperwork so you can verify that it's been done. Yes, it's a hassle, but it's the only sure path to make sure that you get that peace of mind. Also, make sure that you don't cancel your car insurance before you're sure everything is complete, including transfer of ownership. Keep in mind, you don't have to do this when selling your car through a trade-in or using Driveo. Number 6, avoid the time, stress, and hassles of selling your car privately. Selling your car privately takes a good deal of time. Getting the car ready to sell, writing and posting ads, fielding inquiries, and so on. But now you have a much fuller picture of just how much time and hassle it takes. There is simply no guarantee that the process will go smoothly, which is why many people choose to use their car as a trade-in towards their next vehicle. Unfortunately, it's a well-known fact that trading in your car usually results in you getting the least amount of value. Why can't there be a way to sell your car that avoids the stress and hassle of selling it privately, but gets you more money than trading it in? Well, there is a better way, and it's called Driveo. We give your car a thorough inspection and conduct market research to come up with an offer that's competitive and often substantially higher than what many other dealerships and car buying services will offer. We've made the entire process fast and efficient while emphasizing customer satisfaction with competitive quotes. We even handle all the paperwork for you, so you don't have to waste time going to the DMV. Knowing how to limit risk when selling your car privately is important, but you can also avoid all those risks by making the simplest, easy choice of all, selling your car to Driveo. See for yourself by getting a quick online quote today that will be good for 30 days. Visit us at driveo.com.